You think you're done? You think you've hit the wall? And now's the time to tap out? I'm here to tell you something: you don't get to quit. Not on yourself. The moment you feel that urge to quit, that's when the real fight starts. That's when you have a choice to make. Are you going to let the pain, the fatigue, the frustration swallow you, or are you going to dig deeper than you ever have before and keep pushing? You see, quitting is easy. It's the default. It's the comfortable way out. But nothing great ever came from comfort. You want comfort? Stay where you are. Stay where you are. Stay weak. Stay average. But if you're tired of being a victim of your own excuses, it's time to lock in. Lock in. Because life isn't handing you success on a silver platter. Nobody is coming to pull you out of your struggle. You are the solution. Pain is the gateway to growth. But most people run from it. They hide, they make excuses, they justify their weakness because the truth is pain scares them. But here's the harsh reality: growth doesn't happen when things are easy. Growth happens when you're uncomfortable, when every fiber of your body is screaming for you to stop, when your mind is begging you to quit. That's where the transformation begins. Most people will never understand what it takes to push through that pain, to welcome it like an old friend. They think it's a punishment. They don't realize that pain is the price you pay to level up. If you want to be someone different, if you want to see real change, you've got to learn to live in that discomfort. You've got to learn to thrive in it. When the pain comes, it's a test. Your body and your mind are asking you, how bad do you want it? You've got to decide right there. And then if you're going to let the pain own you, or if you're going to embrace it, feel it, and keep moving forward. Pain is what separates those who stay average from those who become unstoppable. It's easy to show up when it feels good, when you're full of energy, when the sun's shining and life is on your side. But that's not where the growth happens. The growth happens on the bad days, the days when nothing is going your way, when every muscle is sore, every joint aches, and your mind is telling you to quit. Most people will never push to that point. They back off when things get tough. They don't want to suffer. But suffering is a gift. It's the key that unlocks a side of you that you didn't even know existed. The pain is a tool that sharpens you, that refines you. Every time you feel that burn, that exhaustion, that hurt, you're getting stronger. That's what pain is. It's the process of breaking down the weak parts of yourself so that the stronger parts can rise. You've got to understand that pain is temporary. Weakness, quitting, staying in the same place, that lasts forever. Pain is the signal that something is changing, that something is shifting inside you. But you've got to lean into it. Too many people shy away the second it hurts. They get scared. They start doubting themselves. That's when they lose. That's when they get stuck. They don't realize that the pain is actually showing them the path forward. Here's the truth that nobody wants to hear: you are alone in this fight. You keep waiting for someone to come and pull you out of your situation, to motivate you to fix your problems. But let me tell you something: you're wasting your time. Nobody is coming. Not your family, not your friends, not some miracle. You want to change your life. You've got to do it yourself. That's the cold, hard reality. The world doesn't owe you anything. Too many people sit around complaining about how hard life is, how unfair their situation is, like someone's going to hear them and magically make it better. You know what that is? Weakness. It's an excuse to stay where you are. You keep pointing fingers at everything outside yourself, your circumstances, your upbringing, the people around you, but at the end of the day, none of that matters. The only person who can change your life is you. When you finally realize that nobody is coming, that you're alone in this battle, that's when you get your power back. That's when you stop waiting and start taking action. Nobody's going to hold your hand and guide you through the fire. You've got to walk through that fire on your own. You've got to face the heat, the pressure, the pain, and you can't rely on anyone else to do it for you. No one else can put in the work. No one else can carry the weight. You've got to carry it all yourself, and it's heavy, real heavy. You see, we live in a world where people are conditioned to expect help, to rely on others to solve their problems, but that's a lie. That's weakness disguised as comfort. Comfort kills growth. You want to be stronger? You want to change your life? You've got to take ownership of every single thing in it. That means the good, the bad, the ugly, everything is on you. Your success, your failures, your pain, your progress, it's all on you. And it doesn't matter how unfair it feels. Life doesn't care. Life is going to keep throwing punches. And if you're standing around waiting for someone to catch those punches for you, you're going to get knocked out every single time. Nobody's going to step in the ring for you. You've got to fight your own fight. You've got to wake up every day with the understanding that you are your only savior. You think you know what your limits are? You think you've hit the wall? That's your mind playing tricks on you. You haven't even scratched the surface of what you're capable of. That limit you feel is nothing but a lie, a comfortable lie your mind tells you to keep you safe, to keep you from the pain of pushing further. But here's the reality, your limits are way beyond where you think they are. The human body, the human mind, they can endure so much more than you believe. But you'll never know how far you can go until you break through that imaginary line you've drawn for yourself. You see, most people live their whole lives trapped behind a wall of limitations they've built in their own minds. They feel a little discomfort, they get a little tired, and they think, that's it, I'm done. But that's not where it ends. That's where it starts. You've got to stop listening to that weak voice inside that tells you to slow down, to stop, to give up. That voice is the enemy. The moment it starts whispering that you're done, that's the signal you've just reached the edge of your comfort zone. And everything that comes after that is where the real work begins. You want to know how strong you really are? You want to see what you're made of? You've got to push past that point. The pain, the fatigue, the doubt, those are all just signals that you're getting close to something bigger. They're not signs to stop. They're signs that you're on the verge of a breakthrough. Most people never push past that point. They get scared. They think this is as far as I can go, but that's a lie. The real limit is always further. Your body can go further. Your mind can go further. But it's going to hurt. It's going to feel like hell. You've got to accept that if you want to find out what you're truly capable of. The difference between staying the same and becoming someone extraordinary is right there in that moment when you think you've had enough. That's when the real you shows up. That's when you find out whether you're going to stay where you are or level up. You think the greats, the people you admire, became great by stopping when it got hard? Hell no, they pushed right through the point where most people quit, where most people said, I can't do this anymore. That's the separation line between the ordinary and the extraordinary. When your body is screaming, when your lungs are burning, when every step feels like 100 pounds, that's not your limit. That's just the first layer. You've got to push past that. Because on the other side of that pain, on the other side of that exhaustion, there's a version of you that you haven't even met yet. Motivation is weak, it's fragile. It comes and goes like the wind. And if you're relying on it to get you through the tough times, you're already setting yourself up to fail. Motivation might get you out of bed on the good days when the sun's shining, everything feels right. But what happens when it's not there? What happens when you wake up tired, sore, and every bone in your body is screaming for you to take it easy? That's where discipline steps in. Discipline is the backbone of everything you do. You see, motivation is nothing more than a feeling. It's temporary and it's unreliable. Feelings change, and if you're driven by feelings, you're going to fall apart the moment life punches you in the face. Life doesn't care if you're motivated. It doesn't care if you're inspired. What separates the strong from the weak is the ability to show up every single day, regardless of how you feel. That's discipline. Discipline is about doing the work whether you want to or not. It's about getting up and grinding when you're dead tired, when you're hurting, when everything inside you is telling you to take a break. Motivation isn't going to carry you through those moments. Discipline is. It's about committing to a standard and holding yourself to it no matter what. Most people wait around for motivation to strike, thinking it's going to magically light a fire under them. That's why they never get anywhere. They're too busy waiting for the perfect moment, the perfect feeling, but that moment never comes. The people who win, the people who achieve greatness, they understand something. Discipline doesn't care about feelings. Discipline shows up when motivation doesn't. You want to get better? You want to be stronger? You want to change your life? Then you need to build a routine and stick to it no matter how you feel. Because your feelings will betray you. They'll tell you to take it easy. They'll tell you you've done enough. But discipline will drag you out of bed when you don't want to move. It'll push you to keep going when every part of you wants to quit. Discipline doesn't need motivation. Discipline is habit. It's waking up at 5 a.m. every day, no excuses. It's showing up to the gym when it's the last thing you want to do. It's getting through that workout, that run, that grind, not because you feel like it, but because it's what you do. Discipline is your foundation, and if you don't have it, you're building on quicksand. Weakness is something most people run from. They hide from it, cover it up, pretend it's not there. But here's the truth: your weakness is your greatest opportunity. It's the one thing standing between you and the person you're supposed to be. You can't become stronger by avoiding it. You've got to face it head on, confront it, and beat it down every single day. Too many people live in denial of their own weaknesses. They act like if they don't acknowledge them, they don't exist. But guess what? Your weakness doesn't go away just because you're too scared to look at it. It's still there and it's still running your life. It's the thing holding you back, keeping you small, making excuses for why you can't move forward. And until you face it, until you bring it out into the light and start working on it, you'll never be free. You know what happens when you ignore your weaknesses? They grow, they get bigger, stronger, and more powerful. And the more you run, the more they chase you down. But the minute you stop running, the minute you turn around and face them, that's when you start to take control. You've got to call yourself out. You've got to get real with yourself about where you're weak, where you're falling short, where you're not showing up. It's not easy, but nothing worth doing is. You see, there's no shame in having weaknesses. Everybody has them. The shame is in refusing to confront. That's not how you grow. Growth happens in the uncomfortable spaces, the places you don't want to go. You want to be better? Then you've got to face what's hardest for you, because that's where the real work is. That's where the real progress is made. When you run from your weaknesses, you're running from yourself. There's a voice inside you, a voice that shows up every time things get tough. You know that voice is the one telling you to quit, to take it easy, to back off when the pain hits. That voice is your greatest enemy. It's the quitter inside you, and it's always there waiting for the perfect moment to pull you down. You've got to learn how to shut that voice down. You've got to know how to silence it, because it's going to show up in every challenge, in every battle, in every hard moment of your life. The quitter's voice starts small, but the more you listen to it, the louder it gets. It starts whispering things like, you've done enough for today. It's okay to take a break. You're too tired. And before you know it, you're giving in. You're cutting corners. You're tapping out. That voice is sneaky, but you've got to be stronger than it. You've got to know how to spot it and crush it the moment it shows up. Most people let the quitter inside them run the show. They don't even realize it. They think that voice is their truth, that it's protecting them, keeping them safe. But that voice is a liar. It's there to keep you small, to keep you comfortable, to make sure you never go beyond the limits you've set for yourself. That voice wants to keep you weak. It wants you to quit because quitting is easy. Quitting is safe. Quitting doesn't hurt. But here's the thing: that voice is full of excuses. It's always looking for a reason to make you stop. It'll tell you that you're too tired, that you don't have enough time, that you've got enough on your plate. It'll throw everything at you to get you to back down, but you've got to see through that. You've got to recognize that the quitter in you is the enemy of your progress. It's the one thing standing between you and everything you want to achieve. You have to become a master at shutting that voice down. It's not about ignoring it. It's about overpowering it. Every time it shows up, you've got to get louder. You've got to drown it out with action, with determination, with grit. The quitter inside you wants to take control, but the more you push against it, the weaker it gets. The problem is most people never push hard enough to weaken that voice. They give in too soon. They let the quitter win, and they wonder why they never reach their potential. You've got to make it a habit to silence the quitter every single day, because that voice, it never goes away. It's always going to be there, lurking in the background, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. When you're tired, when you're hurt, When things don't go your way, that's when the quitter gets loud. That's when it tries to convince you to stop. But that's also when you've got to push harder, dig deeper, and refuse to listen. The quitter doesn't have power unless you give it power. You want to know why most people stay stuck? It's because they refuse to take responsibility for where they are. They blame their circumstances. They blame other people. They blame anything and everything except the person staring back at them in the mirror. But here's the truth: until you hold yourself accountable, nothing in your life will change. Accountability is the key to power. The moment you stop making excuses and start owning your failures, that's when you take control of your life. Nobody wants to hear it, but you are where you are because of you. The decisions you've made, the actions you've taken or haven't taken have led you to this exact point. And until you accept that, until you own it, you're going to stay exactly where you are. Most people are afraid of accountability because it forces them to face the fact that they're not as strong, not as disciplined, not as committed as they pretend to be. But that's where the power is, in admitting where you're falling short. Accountability isn't just about admitting when you've screwed up. It's about being brutally honest with yourself every single day. It's about looking at your habits, your actions, your mindset, and asking yourself, am I doing everything I can to be better? It's about calling yourself out when you know you've taken the easy road, when you know you've let yourself off the hook. And that's the hard part, being real with yourself when no one else is watching. Most people are great at holding others accountable, but terrible at holding themselves accountable. They'll point fingers, call out everyone else's mistakes, but when it comes to their own lives, they let themselves slide. That's weakness. That's the kind of thinking that keeps you mediocre. If you want to be great, if you want to elevate yourself to the next level, you've got to hold yourself to a higher standard than anyone else. Nobody is going to do it for you. Accountability is freedom. It's the understanding that you are in control of your progress. No one else is responsible for your success or your failure. When you own that, when you stop blaming the world, your circumstances, or other people, you free yourself to become whatever you want to be. Because now you know it's all on you. You have to learn how to call yourself out on your own bullshit. You've got to stop pretending you're giving 100% when you know deep down you're not. Accountability means no more hiding, no more pretending, no more excuses. It's about getting up every day and demanding more from yourself, even when no one else is. Because at the end of the day, it's your life, it's your journey, and no one else can walk it for you. When you start holding yourself accountable, you stop waiting for someone else to push you. You stop looking for external motivation, because now you're driven from within. You are your own judge, your own critic, and your own coach. You know when you've done enough, and you know when you've fallen short. And when you fall short, you don't make excuses, you own it. And you fix it. That's power. Let's get one thing straight: life isn't always easy. It's not always going to feel good. And if you think it is, you're in for a rude awakening. You've got to get comfortable with discomfort. You've got to learn to embrace the suck. That's the real test of your character. When everything goes wrong, when the world is throwing obstacles in your path, how do you respond? Do you run from it, or do you lean into it? The truth is, the struggle is where the growth happens. The pain, the hardship, the challenges, they're all part of the journey. Most people want to avoid the suck at all costs. They want to play it safe, stay in their comfort zones, and never face the discomfort that comes with pushing limits. But guess what? That comfort zone, it's a prison. It's a trap that keeps you from becoming the person you're meant to be. Embracing the suck means breaking free from that prison. When you face tough situations, when things aren't going your way, that's when you find out what you're really made of. It's easy to be strong when everything is going right, when you're feeling good, and when the wind is at your back. But the real test comes when the wind is in your face, when you're getting knocked down time after time, and you have to find a way to keep moving forward. That's where the real warriors are made. That's where the champions rise. You've got to change your perspective on suffering. Instead of seeing it as something to avoid, start seeing it as an opportunity. Every tough moment, every setback, every struggle is a chance to build resilience. It's a chance to test your limits. You want to get stronger? You want to be tougher? Then you've got to run towards the suck, not away from it. You've got to welcome it like an old friend, because that's where the transformation takes place. When you embrace the suck, you stop whining, you stop complaining, you stop looking for sympathy and start taking action. You understand that the pain is temporary, but the strength you gain from pushing through it lasts forever. You're going to face adversity, and when you do, you've got to dig deep, tap into that inner strength, and keep pushing. You think anyone who's ever accomplished something great did it without facing their share of pain and suffering? Hell no, they went through the fire, they felt the burn, and they came out stronger on the other side. They embraced the suck every step of the way. They understood that the only way to get better is to confront the challenges head on, to tackle them with everything they've got. So stop waiting for life to get easier. It's not going to happen. Instead, prepare yourself for the struggles that are coming. When you embrace the suck, you're not just surviving, you're thriving. You're taking control of your narrative, and that's what sets you apart. That's what makes you a warrior. Your mind is the most powerful weapon you have, but most people don't even realize it. They let it run wild, let it control their emotions, let it dictate their actions without ever stepping in to take charge. Your mindset shapes your reality. It's what separates the winners from the losers, the strong from the weak. If you want to change your life, you've got to change your mind. You've got to train it like you would a muscle. And that means being relentless in your pursuit of mental strength. Too many people are held hostage by their thoughts. They get caught up in negativity, self-doubt, and fear. They let their minds convince them they can't do something, that they're not good enough, that they don't have what it takes. But here's the truth: your mind is a liar. It's going to throw all sorts of excuses at you, all sorts of reasons why you should back down, why you should quit. But that's when you've got to fight back. That's when you've got to push harder and prove your mind wrong. You've got to cultivate a mindset that is unshakable, a mindset that doesn't just bounce back from setbacks, but grow stronger because of them. It's about flipping the script on your internal dialogue. When your mind says, I can't, you hit back with, I can, and I will. When it says, I'm too tired, you respond with, I'm just getting started. It's a mental game. And the only way to win is to refuse to let your thoughts control you. This is where the real work happens in the mind. Physical training is important, but without the right mindset, you're setting yourself up for failure. You need to approach challenges with a warrior mentality, understanding that every obstacle is an opportunity to grow stronger. Every struggle is a chance to build resilience. When you shift your mindset to see challenges as stepping stones rather than roadblocks, you unlock your true potential. And let's be real, this is not easy. It requires consistent effort and practice. You've got to condition your mind to see the positive, to focus on solutions instead of problems. It's about developing an attitude of gratitude, even in the toughest times. When you can find something to be grateful for, even in your struggles, you shift your entire perspective. You stop being a victim of your circumstances and start becoming the master of your fate. Surround yourself with people who challenge you to think differently, who inspire you to rise above your doubts. Your environment matters. If you're hanging out with people who feed your negative mindset, who encourage you to play it safe, you're never going to grow. But if you put yourself in a circle of winners, people who push you, who motivate you, who demand more from you, your mindset will shift. Remember, your mind is the gatekeeper of your potential. Feed it the right thoughts. Train it to be tough. Make it your ally, not your enemy. When you take control of your mindset, you take control of your life. It's that simple. And when you do that, you can achieve things you never thought possible. You'll look back and realize that the only limits that existed were the ones you created in your own mind. Listen up, consistency is everything. It's the backbone of success, the foundation on which you build your goals. You can have all the talent in the world, all the dreams, all the ambition, but if you don't show up every day and put in the work, it means nothing. It's not the big moments that define you. It's the small, everyday actions that compound over time. Consistency is what separates the good from the great. Too many people are looking for quick fixes, shortcuts to success. They want the magic pill that will transform them overnight. But let me tell you something, there is no shortcut. There is no easy way. Success is earned through relentless effort, day in and day out. It's about grinding when you don't feel like it, pushing through the pain, and doing what needs to be done regardless of the circumstances. That's where the real champions are made. You've got to build the habit of consistency. It's not enough to show up once in a while when you feel inspired. You have to commit to the process, commit to the grind, even when it's uncomfortable, even when it's painful. You've got to wake up every day and decide that you're going to be better than you were yesterday. That's the kind of mindset that creates real change. Think about it. If you want to get fit, it's not just about hitting the gym hard for a week and expecting results. It's about showing up consistently, pushing yourself, challenging your limits, and sticking to a routine that builds over time. That's how you build strength. That's how you create lasting change. The same goes for any goal you set, whether it's in your career, your relationships, or your personal development. Consistency is the key to unlocking your potential. When you embrace consistency, you become dependable. You build trust with yourself and with others. People start to see you as someone who doesn't just talk the talk, but walks the walk. You create a reputation as a hard worker, a fighter, a person who gets things done. And that reputation matters. It opens doors and creates opportunities. But here's the catch. Consistency requires discipline. It requires a commitment to push through the days when you're tired, when you're unmotivated, and when everything in you is screaming to take a break. That's when you need to dig deep. That's when you need to show up for yourself more than ever. Because the moment you let off the gas, the moment you start making excuses, is the moment you begin to slide backward. And trust me, once you start slipping, it's hard to regain your momentum. Consistency is not just about showing up, it's about showing up with purpose and intensity. You've got to bring your best self to the table every single time. Whether you're training, working on a project, or building relationships, make every moment count. You have to hold yourself to a higher standard and refuse to settle for mediocrity. In the end, it's the cumulative effect of your consistent actions that leads to the results you're after. Success isn't a sprint, it's a marathon. It's a long game. And those who understand the importance of consistency are the ones who cross the finish line. So if you want to achieve greatness, if you want to push your limits and break through barriers, then embrace consistency with everything you've got. If you want to achieve greatness, you've got to set high standards for yourself. Average is easy, and easy is the enemy of progress. Most people are content to settle for mediocrity, to float along with the crowd, to do just enough to get by. But that's not how winners think. Winners don't play it safe. They aim high and refuse to lower their expectations. You have to demand more from yourself, and I mean a lot more. Setting high standards means refusing to accept anything less than your best. It means pushing yourself to do the hard things, to go the extra mile, and to dig deep when you want to give up. It's about holding yourself accountable for your actions and outcomes. If you're not willing to put in the work to meet those high standards, then you're not really committed. You're just playing pretend. When you set high standards, you start to see what you're truly capable of. You break free from the limitations that others place on you, and you begin to explore the boundaries of your potential. It's uncomfortable and it can be scary, but it's also where the magic happens. That's where you discover strength you didn't know you had, determination you didn't know you possessed, and resilience that will carry you through even the toughest of times. But here's the thing, you can't just set high standards, you've got to live by them. You've got to be relentless in your pursuit of excellence. It's not enough to say, I want to be great, you have to back it up with action. You have to be willing to put in the work, to sacrifice, to hustle day in and day out. This isn't a one-time deal, it's a lifestyle. When you hold yourself to high standards, you naturally attract others who do the same. You build a circle of like-minded individuals who push you to be better, who challenge you to rise to the occasion. You stop surrounding yourself with people who are satisfied with mediocrity, and instead you find those who want to excel, to push boundaries, and to achieve greatness. Your environment matters, and when you set high standards, you elevate everyone around you. You've got to be the kind of person who refuses to accept excuses, both from yourself and from others. Excuses are the poison that kills ambition. When you set high standards, you don't let yourself off the hook. If you stumble, you pick yourself up, you learn from it, and you keep moving forward. You take ownership of your actions and your outcomes. And let's be real, this isn't going to be easy. The higher you set your standards, the more challenges you're going to face. There are going to be days when it feels like the world is against you, when every fiber of your being wants to throw in the towel. But those are the days that define you. Those are the days when you prove to yourself that you have what it takes to rise above the challenges, to meet your own expectations, and to crush your goals. Remember, high standards lead to high achievement. If you want to accomplish something extraordinary, you have to be willing to push beyond what you thought was possible. You've got to cultivate a mindset that embraces challenges, that seeks out discomfort, and that thrives on the journey of becoming the best version of yourself. When you set high standards, you're not just aiming for success, you're aiming for greatness. If you think you've arrived, think again. The moment you stop learning is the moment you start dying. The world is constantly changing, and if you're not evolving with it, you're getting left behind. Learning isn't just an option, it's a necessity. It's about being a lifelong student, relentlessly seeking knowledge, skills, and experiences that will take you to the next level. No matter how successful you become, there's always more to learn, always more to understand. You have to cultivate a hunger for knowledge. This isn't just about reading books or taking courses. It's about being open to new ideas, perspectives, and ways of thinking. It's about pushing yourself to explore the unknown, to challenge what you think you already know. Complacency is your enemy. When you think you have it all figured out, that's when you're at your most vulnerable. That's when the world will surprise you, knock you down, and remind you that there's always more out there. Embrace the grind of learning, whether it's through formal education, self-study, or life experiences. Every lesson is a stepping stone to becoming better. Don't just go through the motions, absorb it. Reflect on it. Apply what you learn and push yourself to grow. If you make a mistake, don't wallow in self-pity, analyze it, understand it, and learn from it. Those mistakes are not failures, they're lessons in disguise. Surround yourself with people who challenge you to think differently, who inspire you to push your boundaries. Seek out mentors, coaches, and those who have walked the path you aspire to tread. You don't know everything, and that's okay. Acknowledging that is the first step to growth. When you're open to learning from others, you can absorb wisdom that will save you time, energy, and heartache. Every day is a new opportunity to learn. Whether you're hitting the gym, tackling a work project, or navigating personal relationships, there's something to be gained from every experience. You've got to approach each day with the mindset of a learner. Ask questions, seek feedback, and be willing to adapt. That's how you evolve. Learning also means getting uncomfortable. Sometimes you've got to step outside your comfort zone and dive into new challenges. It's not going to be easy. There will be times when you feel lost or overwhelmed. But those moments are critical. They're where growth happens. Don't shy away from them. Lean into the discomfort and embrace the process of becoming better. Never stop pushing yourself. The more you learn, the more equipped you are to tackle life's challenges. And the more equipped you are, the more confident you become. You start to see the world as a place full of possibilities instead of obstacles. Your mindset shifts from one of limitation to one of abundance. You realize that learning is a lifelong journey, and every step along the way is a chance to grow stronger, wiser, and more resilient. In the end, the greatest investment you can make is in yourself. The knowledge, skills, and experiences you accumulate become your armor against the challenges of life. And remember, this journey never ends. As long as you're alive, there's always something new to discover, a new lesson to learn, and a new level to reach. Embrace that, and you'll unlock your true potential. As we wrap this up, I want you to take a moment to reflect on the journey ahead. Life is a relentless battleground, and it's easy to feel overwhelmed, to want to throw in the towel when the going gets tough. But let me tell you, the moment you consider quitting is the moment you need to dig deeper. You are capable of so much more than you realize. Don't let self-doubt or external pressures dictate your path. Embrace the discomfort and the struggles. They are your greatest teachers. Hold yourself accountable for your actions and decisions because you are the author of your own story. Set high standards and live by them every day. Surround yourself with people who inspire you and challenge you to rise above mediocrity. Commit to a mindset of relentless growth and never stop learning. It is the fuel that will propel you forward. Remember, success is not a destination, but a journey, and the only person standing in your way is you. Every day is a new opportunity to push your limits, to redefine what's possible, and to prove to yourself that you are capable of greatness. When the storms of life hit, stand firm. When you face setbacks, rise up. So I challenge you, don't quit on yourself. Show up, put in the work, and become the person you were meant to be. The journey may be tough, but I promise you it will be worth it. Keep pushing, keep striving, and never lose sight of who you are and what you can achieve. The path to greatness is laid one step at a time. Make sure you take those steps, no matter how small. Every single day, you owe it to yourself to fight for your dreams, to fight for your future. Now go out there and make it happen. The more comfortable you are, the less you grow. It's a hard truth to accept, but comfort is the enemy of progress. When you're comfortable, you settle, you stop pushing, stop striving, and you stay exactly where you are. Comfort makes you weak, not because it feels good in the moment, but because it tricks you into believing that staying the same is okay. It lulls you into complacency, convincing you that you don't need to challenge yourself, that you don't need to strive for more. But deep down, you know that growth doesn't happen when you're comfortable. Growth happens in discomfort. If you want to rise above where you are today, you need to get comfortable with being uncomfortable. You need to seek out challenges instead of avoiding them. You need to push yourself into situations that are hard, that test your limits, and that force you to grow. Because the harder the task, the more it will challenge you and the more you'll grow. When you put yourself in uncomfortable situations, you're building resilience, strength, and mental toughness. You're teaching yourself that you can handle more than you thought possible. Discomfort is where growth lies. It's where you discover your true potential. Every time you step outside of your comfort zone, you're giving yourself an opportunity to rise, to become stronger, smarter, and more capable. I think about it. When was the last time you grew from doing something easy? When was the last time staying in your comfort zone pushed you to new heights? It didn't, because comfort doesn't push you. It holds you back. Growth demands discomfort. It demands that you choose the harder path, the path with more obstacles, more challenges, more potential for failure. But that's the path that leads to greatness. Every time you choose discomfort over ease, you're choosing to grow. You're choosing to get stronger. You're choosing to rise above your current circumstances. It's easy to choose comfort. It's easy to avoid hard things, to stay where it's safe, where you know you won't be tested. But easy doesn't lead to progress. Easy doesn't lead to success. If you want more from life, if you want to rise to new levels, you've got to choose discomfort every single day. You've got to choose the path that forces you to stretch, to learn, to adapt, and to overcome. Discomfort is where you find out what you're truly made of. It's where you realize that you're stronger than you thought, that you're capable of more than you imagined. It's where you learn to push through pain, doubt, and fear. And the more you choose discomfort, the more you grow. The more you expose yourself to difficult situations, the more resilient you become. Remember, it's not about being perfect. It's not about always succeeding. It's about choosing discomfort over comfort and trusting that the process of pushing yourself is what leads to growth. You don't need to be fearless. You just need to be willing to act despite the fear. You don't need to have all the answers. You just need to be willing to face the uncertainty. And every time you do, you're taking a step toward the person you're meant to be. So embrace the discomfort. Seek it out. Challenge yourself every day. Because the more you choose discomfort, the more you'll grow. And the more you grow, the higher you'll rise. It's not going to be easy, but it will be worth it. Comfort might feel good in the moment, but discomfort is what will take you where you want to go. Pain is a teacher, and it's through pain that we grow. Pain is something we all try to avoid, but in reality, it's one of life's greatest teachers. Whether it's physical, mental, or emotional, pain serves a purpose. It strips away our illusions of comfort and exposes our weaknesses. It shows us where our limits are, but more importantly, it forces us to push beyond them. Pain doesn't come to stop you. It comes to strengthen you, to teach you, to show you that you are capable of so much more than you ever imagined. Physical pain comes when you push your body beyond what it's used to. Whether you're training for a race, building strength in the gym, or just testing your endurance, that burn you feel isn't a signal to stop. It's a sign that you're breaking past your current limitations. The muscles tear, but when they heal, they come back stronger. The same is true in life. The challenges you face, the setbacks, the failures, they're painful, but they're also the moments that build you. They're the moments that shape your character, your strength, and your resilience. Mental pain, too, is a teacher. It comes in the form of stress, doubt, and fear. But these are the moments that test your resolve, that force you to dig deep and find out what you're truly made of. When you're up against a wall, when your mind is telling you to give up, when the doubt creeps in and the fear feels overwhelming, that's when you learn the most about yourself. You learn that you're capable of more than you ever thought possible. You learn that you can push through the discomfort, through the fear, through the exhaustion, and come out stronger on the other side. Emotional pain is perhaps the hardest to endure. Heartbreak, loss, disappointment, they cut deep. But just like physical and mental pain, emotional pain is also a teacher. It shows you where your vulnerabilities lie, but it also gives you the opportunity to heal, to grow, and to become emotionally stronger. Emotional pain can teach you empathy, patience, and understanding. It forces you to confront parts of yourself that you may have been avoiding, and in doing so, it helps you grow into a more complete, resilient person. But here's the thing, if you're not willing to go through the pain, you'll never reach your potential. Avoiding pain means avoiding growth. If you shy away from the hard things in life, the difficult conversations, the challenging tasks, the situations that stretch you, you'll stay stuck where you are. Comfort feels good, but it doesn't lead to progress. Growth demands discomfort. It demands that you embrace the pain, learn from it, and use it as fuel to get better, to get stronger. You have to be willing to do what's hard. You have to be willing to go through the pain, not around it. Whether it's pushing through a tough workout, facing a fear head on, or dealing with the emotional aftermath of failure, the pain you experience is part of the process. It's the price you pay for progress. It's the crucible that refines you, that strips away the weaknesses and forges a stronger, more resilient version of yourself. So don't run from the pain. Don't hide from it.